Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to this webinar session for this BYOB 2018 challenge. So we have the leadership team from RRD only here. So they are here to help you all out with your participation in BYOB challenge. So this forum is open for any kind of question and answers that you might have regarding your participation or what should be your approach towards solving the problem and all. So question and answers will take towards the end of the session. So what you all can do is, I have kept you all on mute because we are recording this webinar and we will be sharing this webinar recordings with you all for your future references. So to maintain the quality, I have kept you all on mute. So you all can start typing your questions and I will start asking it to the speaker and the speaker will try to answer all your questions. I hope you all are clear with this point. So to start with this, there will be an introduction by the speaker and he will also explain you what should be your approach towards solving the problems and what is expected as a participant from you all. And after that, there will be a question and answer session. So shall we start? Yeah. Milan, over to you.
So, as we set the expectations, just taking through as to challenge we're planning to do today. So, we have about 50 minutes left. So, we'll take about 20 to 25 minutes to take you through on.
Milan, can you please be a little louder?
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Right. So as I said, we have about 50 minutes left. So we'll take about 20 to 30 minutes. I will take you through each and every problem statement in detail. And as we progress, if you guys have already selected which problem to focus on, if you already have questions for us, you can start typing in. And from our end, we will pick whatever the questions which we think is beneficial for everybody, and we'll try to answer it on this forum itself. If the time permits, we will cover everything. In case if not, we'll take it offline and we will be sure to get back to you. So that's how I thought we will take this session forward. If you all are okay, I will turn my screen back. I'll share the documentation which I have, where we have defined the problem statements with this group.
Sure. I think you can start sharing your screen.
Right. All right. So just to check to see if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
All right. So at a high level, the way this program is structured is we are having 3 different challenges on different technology solutions that we're focusing on. And the weightage that each and every question has is also different. The third and second question has or carries 100 marks, 100 weightage, whereas the first that you're looking at on my screen right now will carry 25% of the weightage. So that's the first point I wanted to take you through, and with that I'll move into details on how the first challenge would look. So the first challenge we have titled it as triaging, which is nothing but job classification depending on the complexity of a particular job. So this is something that we use a lot in the industry today, whereas the main reason why we use this is for us to distinguish or rather to arrive at a particular ETA, which is the deadline when we will get back to the client with this job, and also for us to understand which skill set should be focusing on that. So that's a little bit of a business side to this problem. And if we focus on the technical side of it, this problem is nothing but there is a sample document, set of documents that we have shared. And these samples are again downloaded from the UK Companies House, which is nothing but the annual accounts that companies file within the UK. So the expectation is we have already provided you with 100 sample annual accounts. So the expectation here is we need the solution that you guys built, if I am to call it a bot, the bot to read and understand the balance sheet. So these documents contain a lot of information. So you will have a balance sheet, you will have a profit and loss, and you will have a cash flow. There will be so much of information available. So in this solution, we specifically need you to select the balance sheet and understand if the balance sheet does not have any notes. So in a moment, I'll take you through to understand what a note is. But so the first category, which is easy, would be to understand if there is only one balance sheet, only a balance sheet, and see if there are any notes. If there are any notes, it doesn't qualify to this category. Only if there is a balance sheet and the balance sheet does not have notes, we will classify it under the easy category. And I will take you through to help you understand how a note would look like. So now what you are seeing on your screen is a sample balance sheet that we have. So you'll have the balance sheet items, and under notes you will have numbers. So this is one balance sheet that has a list of notes within. But on the other hand, if this is to qualify under a balance sheet without notes, you should not have any numbers within these notes. So if this notes field appear to be blank, we will classify this as one without notes, and it will automatically belong to accounts with only balance sheet and with no notes. So that is how we would categorize the first set of accounts, which is the easy category. Moving to the moderate item, then you will have financial statements with balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow with notes. So the rest of the documents or components that you have in an annual account, right? So you will have all this information. However, the second category is you will not have any notes within balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow in free-flowing text. So in a moment, I'll take you through to differentiate between free-flowing and tabular format. But again, at a concept level, you're supposed to have financial statements, balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow statements, the rest of the information. Along with that, you are supposed to have notes, but those notes should only be in tabular format. So if I take you through how a note for tabular format would look like, now here I am seeing a note. So note is 11. So I need to go back to the sheet and refer where note 11. Under notes category, you will have a note called note 11. In this case, I have a note called note 3. So my note 3 is highlighted as turnover and revenue, and my note 3 comes in a tabular format. Now I'll also show you how a note with structured information or other free-flowing text would look like. So if you take a look at this, now this doesn't come as a tabular format, right? This is free-flowing text. So this is how I would distinguish notes between tabular format and free-flowing text. So any balance sheet or any other financial statement such as a P&L, cash flow has notes, and if it only has notes in tabular format, I will pick this as a medium, and if it has notes in free-flowing format, I will not pick it as a medium category. So that is my medium or other moderate category where the documents will belong to. So we have discussed about easy, moderate, and I will also discuss about difficult, and I'll pause for a minute or two to take any of the questions that you guys may have. So difficult is again nothing but you will have the same financial statements. However, all these components will have notes. However, the information that you have in notes could either be on tabular or free-flowing text, such as if I take one, so you'll have notes here. So note 11 could be in tabular format. note 12 could be in free flowing text. So that is how we differentiate or distinguish between the three categories. And I'll pause for a moment here to take in whatever the questions that you guys may have.
So you want to take the question now?
Yes. If there are any questions specific to these three categories, we'll take it up now.
Yeah. So guys, can you please start typing in your questions? Or I'll just you can raise the hand option. That option is there. So if you do that, I will unmute you, so you can ask your question directly to the speaker. No questions, I think. Okay.
All right.
I think we have one person.
Okay, so the question here is, I wanted to know if my balance sheet, first of all, let me understanding whether my understanding is correct here or not. The actual output of the bot should give the balance sheet is what your expectation here, isn't it? When you do the triaging, or whoever is having the balance sheet will not be balanced, or is the problem with the ledger balance, or is the problem with the profit and loss, where the bot should come out with the completed balance sheet. Is my understanding right with the bot? The final output from the bot should be with the balance sheet. Hello.
Milim? One second. I think his volume. Yeah. Milim?
You hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So I think the question that we have defined is a little differently. So at a high level, this question is nothing but reading and understanding this information and classifying it to three buckets. So your output is going to be nothing but a CSV format, a CSV file which has in front of each and every company number. We will have it marked as easy, medium, moderate, or difficult.
Sorry, there is a disturbance.
I'm sorry, say again.
There is a disturbance.
Yeah. I think we're okay now. Or maybe are you on mute? Right. So I think we're good now. So as I was trying to explain before, so this question is on that line. So the only output that we expect is so agents or whoever is attempting, contestants, are supposed to read these emails, read these documents, classify it based on the logics that we have provided, and then give us the output which says under easy you list down all the company numbers. So the 100 that we are going to give you the sample will have a certain number. So just put those numbers under easy, just put the numbers that comes under moderate, under moderate, just mark whatever the difficult ones under difficult, and that's the only output that we expect. Does that help?
Yes, that helps, but I'm wondering what type of questions the participant may ask here. Let's say, for example, in the last difficult section, you are specified here as free flowing or a tabular format. Can you just go down and then scroll down and then show me what is free flowing text here and what it has?
Sure. So this is how your tabular format would look like. So this is your financial notes with tabular format. And if I go down further, you will have one note, set of notes rather, in free flowing text. So notes with free flowing text. So just to make it a little bit more clear, so how do I understand a note is under notes column. So in my balance sheet, or this might not necessarily be a balance sheet only, right? It could be a P&L, it could be a cash flow, it could be any of the documents that you find in an annual account. So under notes, you have 11 here. So I go down the document, I find note 11. So in this case, it's just 3. So I assume that this is 11. And then I see, is it free flowing text? So the numbers are, is it in free flowing text? Is in tabular? It is in tabular format. So I'm going to go understand it as tabular format. So assume that here I want to check this. So this is 12. I go down the document and I, for a moment, assume that this is 12. And then this is free flowing text. This is not a table information. So then I'm going to mark this as tabular format. So that is how I would differentiate between tabular data and free flowing text.
Got it. One last question here. Wanted to know, or I wanted to foresee what type of questions generally here is expected. Any example if you want to give. So, for example, the students or the participants who are going to join here are freshers or young blood, and they should be having a detailed knowledge and working experience in bot, but the same way very less knowledge or intermediate knowledge in accounting. So what type of questions we may foresee here is what my question is.
Yeah, I think we already have all the students on this line, right? So we will keep it open for a moment. So in case if any students have any questions, we are happy to answer it at this moment on this call itself. But if the time doesn't permit, we will take them offline and we will be sure to get back to the students. So yeah, so this call is actually for students only, in case if any contestant has any questions.
Okay, I think we are good to move on to the next session.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So with that being said, moving to the second question, which is which we have defined as OCR denoising. So again, just to give you a little bit background on OCR denoising, what exactly the expectation is, right? So if you today, if I take 100 documents and if I run it through an OCR engine, it could be Adobe, it could be Adobe PDF, anything for that matter. So the output that I get is completely dependent on the quality of the input that I provide. So if it's a native PDF, my output is gonna be 100% accurate. But if it is a poorly scanned document, so the output is gonna be very poor. So few of the issues that we have seen is, say you have letter alphabet O in a particular document, and in the OCR output it might come out as 0. If you have 1, it might be picked in as I or L for that matter. So likewise, so these are the frequent challenges that we have seen, but not limited to. There's going to be a lot of thousands of OCR denoising challenges that we are going to expect, which we have seen in this industry. So the challenge that we have put together is for these agents to, or for the contestants to, we will be providing a set of documents. Again, it's going to be 100 documents here. We need these documents OCR, and then we need a tool that completely checks this document, the OCR content for errors, and these errors needs to be corrected, and it has to be provided to us back in MS Word format, Microsoft Word format, exactly as in the PDF. So what we mean by exactly as in the PDF is, if you look back, if I take this tabular document, or rather if I take this for a moment, so some tools, if I OCR it, it might not come in this entire format. It might come as fixed assets, and then everything might come as paragraphs. So that's not how we want the document, how we want the output. We need the output in the exact format that we have here. Meaning any tabular information should come in as tabular format, is what I'm trying to say. So that is pretty much the second problem statement. Again, to summarize, the 3 steps that will be involved in this solution is we need to run it through an OCR engine to take the OCR output, then run it through the bot that you guys are going to build to make sure that to pick all these OCR errors. And third step, the bot should correct all these OCR errors. And then fourth step is it should generate the output in MS Word format as exactly that is available in the PDF. So again, these are the few items that I had for second problem statement. It looks simpler compared to the first one, at least from a technical level knowledge standpoint. So I will pause here for a moment and I will open this forum for anyone who has a question to raise at this moment.
Any questions? Problem statement number 2. So you can unmute your mic there. You all have the mic mute and unmute option. You can just click on the mic button there.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have to ask that this problem we have to propose based on application or anything else. As I have worked on OCR and I have worked with Android application. So by using a machine learning concept, we have to work on in this Android application. We have to find the solution by the help of application or anything else.
Sorry, so when you say Android, are you asking which platform you should build the tool?
Yes.
Yeah, so all these questions will be built on Windows platform only. So we thought we will limit it to Windows.
Okay. So then we have to use any machine learning concept for this, and we have to build an application for that.
Correct. Yeah. So I will leave it for the contestants to decide which technology they will be using.
We can give it in the form of mobile application.
Not really. See, we will specifically need this in Windows-based platform. So it's again up to you for you to build it. So you can build it in compatible with mobile platform and also Windows platform. But when we do the test, we will run it on Windows platform only. So it's a must that the tool is able to run on Windows as well.
Yeah. And also, I think we are expecting the solution to be built on R and Python using R and Python technology.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So moving on to the next question, Milan. Any restriction on what open source library we can use for OCR engine, like Tesseract coded, which is coded in C++ in the back end, but has a working Python wrapper to be used with the Python, something like that?
No, so we will keep it open and we will let the contestants decide and choose what library, what tool to be used. So that's 100% you have the freedom to pick it. But so the two things from our end is you're trying to limit it to Python and R. However, if you think there are other technologies that you really want to work on, you can talk to any of the mentors that are assigned and we can have that conversation, but we encourage you to limit it to R and Python. That's one. Second, as I said before, it has to run on Windows platform only. So again, you have the choice to make it compatible with any of the platforms you need, but when we do the final test, we will run it on Windows only.
Okay. I think someone with the name Redmi has some question. So you are unmuted. You can talk. Hello. Yeah. So meanwhile, Pujita wants to know why is the marks for first question is 25 and for second question is 100.
Right. Cool. So how the way we have marked this is depending on the complexity, how we believe the solution, the complexity of the solution, right? So at a technical level, we think OCR denoising is going to be challenging because some of the documents that we have given, once you OCR it, it's not going to give you the exact output. So you're definitely going to have some OCR challenges. So that's so comparatively, we believe that the first question is the weightage should be lesser than the second and the third. So that's the background behind allocating this weightage.
Okay. So I think one more question. Anyone wants to talk? So the language is flexible, but you prefer R and Python. So am I correct? That's what Amal wants to know.
That is correct.
Yeah.
However, if you need to use any other language than R and Python, before you go ahead with any development, contact your mentor, have a discussion, and make sure we all are in agreement. So that's where we are.
Yes. So we have shared all your mentor details yesterday. Hope you all have received the email. If not, please let me know. Yesterday itself, me and Pradeep have shared the mentor details with you, mentor's contact email and all these things. So if you have any questions, please get back to your mentors or get back to us. We will try to connect you with the mentors. Okay, Mr. Marlin wants to know, do we need to provide MS Word for every PDF file?
I believe that's for the second question.
Yes, I think.
Yes. Yes. So yes, the answer is yes. So we have provided 100 separate PDF files. We will need 100 separate Word files.
Any other questions? Or are we good to move on? I think we are good to move on then.
All right. So that brings us to the last question we have for the day, which is challenge 3, profit and loss statement processing. Again, the output, we will need it in CSV output. So I've mentioned it saying tabular output, but in CSV, you will have it comma separated, and that's how the output will be taken. So at a problem description level, you guys are already familiar with the previous documents that we discussed, right? So in a financial document, you will have different components. You will have a balance sheet, you will have a profit and loss statement, you will have a cash flow, and you will have so many other information. However, if I take 100 balance sheets, all these 100 will have, so different companies will have their own way of creating their balance sheet, right? Even though there is a structured format, it's not going to be identical. So line item 1, you may call it in one way, I might call it in a different way. So the challenge here is taking, and so again we have given 100 P&Ls, profit and loss statements. So the challenge here is reading and understanding all these 100 profit and loss statements and extracting data to the structured format that we have provided. So just to give you a little bit more clarity, I will show you how the standard structure looks like. So this is the standard profit and loss account that's standardized by the UK government. Looks like this is a GAAP format. So you will have these figures. You'll have a turnover figure, cost of sales, gross profit. So likewise, so this is a very simplified standard format that we have, and you will have 2 years data. Like if it is 2017 here, you'll have 2016 here. Likewise. So the challenge is you need to go read and understand these profit and loss statements from the PDFs provided, extract this information, and put it in this template that's provided. But if you take a look, you will see that these are identical. So I have turnover, cost of sales, gross profit here. You will have the same turnover, cost of sales, gross profit here. So in a situation like this, extracting this data point and putting it here is not going to be a challenge at all. However, the challenge would be in instances, or rather the template, or rather the 100 documents that we have provided, sometimes you might not have information in this format. The order might be changed, or sometimes these names themselves might be changed. So in such situations, when this has a different name, you need to still be able to understand, okay, here they're talking about gross profit. So take this value, extract the value and plug it under gross profit. So that is going to be the third challenge that you have. So there's one more component of that challenge, which is you're also expected to read notes and understand if they should be plugged in here. You need to understand if there are notes. You need to understand if they need to be plugged in here. If yes, you will have to get the notes information and plug it here as well. So that's how I would define the third problem statement, and I'll pause here for a moment and we'll open the forum for questions.
So any questions?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
See, this involves reading from this document, right? We have to read this information from the document and then extract into our output, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So will this have the same OCR denoising problem coming inside here? Because you see, we are reading we have to read this information. So will that also come inside this? We will have to. Should we should we give attention to that too here?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So the simple answer is yes, but practically the challenges that you're gonna get is not gonna be that big, right? So the mostly OCR challenges will come in when you try to read free flowing text in text items. So in this case, given that you're only supposed to be reading tabular format and numbers, the number of OCR issues that you're gonna get is comparatively low than the amount of OCR issues you are expected to get in the previous question. However, even in these numbers, we need to make sure the numbers are right. For example, this one could be read as L or I. So such instance, we need to correct it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So also Akshay wants to know, can sample expected output for a respective input file be provided for each question?
Say that again. Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay. So Akshay is asking, can sample expected output for a respective input file be provided for each question?
Sample.
Akshay? Akshay, do you want to ask this question in a different way?
No, I think I was just thinking, should we go there? And right now, I think we might not go to that level because the level of information we have provided. So here it's very clear, right? So it's just a matter of understanding this information and plugging it under these three categories. And if you move here to the OCR denoising, even if I provide a sample, the only sample that's going to be is you will have the same document in PDF and you will have the same document in Word. It's not going to make any difference. Even here, if I give it, it's going to be the same, right? So in this case, your cost of sales will go here and this information will be going here. So in that case, I don't think that samples needs to be provided, but we'll pass that question for now and we'll see if the majority required samples, I'll be happy to share.
Okay. So any other questions? I think we are good to move on.
Yeah, I think so. Those are the three questions that I had, right? So
Yes.
There's one more point that I wanted to discuss. If you are clear with these three questions, which is how the output would look like, or rather how we expect the output. So from an output standpoint, rather submission standpoint, we need the all the technical components that we need to run the bot. So just for everybody to understand, so what we're trying to do is after you submit all the information, especially from an accuracy standpoint or rather the usability standpoint, what we will do is we will run your bot in-house within our environment based on or by using a different set of documents. So I have already provided, say, if I take the second question, which is OCR denoising, I've already given you 100 documents to go through. So when we test it, we will use 25 separate documents. We will run it through that and we'll see how accurate the solution is or to what extent the solution is working. So for us to do it, we need all the technical components that you have built to run the bot. So that's one part that we need. Second item that we need is the completed submission document. So the submission document, we need the below items included. So the problem, opportunity, number. So we talked about 3 different problems, right? So which one you're attempting, we will have it marked here. And from solution design standpoint, just elaborate what the solution is. Even if you want to go ahead, create a high level diagram, we will be happy with that. So discuss and describe how the solution looks like, how the input is taken, where the input goes up. So a high level description, and then list all the tools that you are using to arrive at this solution. So the reason why we are specifying here saying arrive at this solution is so we need to include the tools that we need to run the solution and also any tools that we have already used to build the solution. So that information is also needed here. And fourth will be the steps for execution. As I said, we will be executing this. So you need to clearly list all the steps that we need to go through to execute this, which including your environment, setting up environment paths, folder paths. Up to that level, we need information. So simply the expectation is anybody who is able to read that execution list or other this steps for execution should be able to read it and execute your bot. So that's one more thing that we're looking at. And the next question or rather next item to focus on is the automation scope. So we understand in automation, in any automation, sometimes we will hit 100% end-to-end automation. Sometimes there will be manual tasks involved as well. So if your process involves any manual task that needs to be manually handled, for example, say if it is OCR denoising, if you're having exceptions where agents are supposed to or rather manually human are supposed to do anything, just if there is any manual intervention, please list down all the manual intervention steps, what exactly has to happen. So that's one part that we need. And also from an accuracy standpoint. So you build your own tool and do an accuracy check from your end to tell us how much is the accuracy that you believe is working, it is having. However, for final marks, the accuracy test will happen from our end for 25 or other, which is yet to be discussed as to how the sample size would be. But we will decide the sample size, and that's not going to be the 100 that we have provided. It will be 100 different documents, and we will run it through to arrive at the accuracy. So that's one more point that I thought I'll cover today, which is for us to understand what exactly to be submitted. So to summarize, one is your entire bot. Second would be the submission document. Any questions here?
All clear? Yeah, I think no questions.
All right. So I think that sums up, that concludes the discussion from my end for the day. And back to you.
Okay, thank you, Milan. So apart from that, so do you have any particular thing that the participants, have to consider? Yeah, you have mentioned all the points clearly in each and every segment or each and every problem statement that what is expected and how their approach should be and all. But just to avoid any kind of rework or to get the more accuracy, any other suggestions or inputs from your end?
Nothing specific, right? But from an approach standpoint, I would suggest that you work closely with your mentors, because keep in touch with them. So don't use mentors only to clarify your points, but have a good touch with them, take them through as to each and every step that you go through. So in any case, if you are going towards the wrong direction, if there are any how do I say, wrong steps that you are taking, not from a technical standpoint, but from understanding this problem statement. For example, if I take problem 1, so just in case if you have understood the solution wrong, or maybe there is some confusion in understanding the solution, and if you are trying to build it differently, so rather than finding out that the solution was built incorrectly in the end, it's always good to have a chat with your mentor, take your mentor through as to what exactly you're trying to do, so that mentor will make sure that you're taking the right approach. So that is one thing I thought I'll share from my end. Keep in touch your mentors and work with them, along with them, so they should be able to help you to get a better output.
Sure. Great, Milan. So any other questions? Apart from the problem statements also, if you have any questions related to your participation, so anything, if you have, you can ask and get it clarified now. No questions. I think we all good to move on. So on behalf of RRD team, I would like to wish all the very best to all the participants, and please make good use of all the resources you have. Maybe it's some mentors or any kind of the assistance you need from our side. Please write back to us. We are available. You can reach out to me or Pradeep also. So we'll try to get all your doubts clarified at the earliest. Okay, so all the very best to all of you, and have a great day. Okay, so last question we are getting again. So can you share the latest version of PDF with us that is used in the webinar? So, okay. So is it possible for you to share this presentation, Milan?
Yes, I can do that. So the recording of this will be already available online, right?
Yeah, so anyways, the recording will be available. So I will share the recordings. It will be available anyways.
Sure, and along with that, I will share this as well. So if anybody wants to refer, they can refer that.
Okay, fine, definitely.
Sure. Good.
Yeah, okay.